We've all been waiting with bated breath to find out where in the world Monstropolis is going. After D23 reveals from Josh tomorrow, the original rumor was that MuppetVision 3D was going to get the axe. A new podcast featuring former Disney animators might have spilled the beans on where Monstropolis is heading, and who else might be getting the axe. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. We've got actually a little bit of an answer here on a burning question that all of us have had here. Some former Imagineers have spoken out about, the answer to this question right here. Maybe you'll know what I'm talking about.
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
So there's been a big question at Disney Hollywood Studios where they're going to be putting this Monsters, Inc. land here. And I think our assumption, based on the artwork, by the way, the artwork and looking at that concept art, maybe you want to pull that up in a second here, Vash, is that it was definitely going in the Muppets land. Well, there is a little bit of relief that we might be feeling here if these executives are to believed. Former animator reveals what Disney is tearing down for Monsters Inc. land at Walt Disney World. Are the Muppets safe? This is by Marvin Montanaro. I like that guy.
Jonas, when you say, is it safe? That's what I see is Laurence Olivier in Marathon Man, you know. Is it safe? And he's holding a Muppet-shaped dental drill. I don't know. Anyway.
Here we go. This by Marvin Montanaro. When Walt Disney Parks and Experiences announced a brand new inverted Monsters, Inc. roller coaster coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios, guests were immediately wondering where the new attraction and accompanying Monstropolis land was going to go. Many initially feared that the monsters would be moving into the spot currently occupied by Jim Henson's MuppetVision 3D and the surrounding Grand Avenue area that marks the entrance to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's a little niche over there. It's like a little crevice that is almost carved out here between Star Tours.
It's kind of the last little vestige of the streets of America that just they kept this one little stretch of buildings right before Galaxy's Edge.
It's true. And it is a wonderful little area with some theme park ambiance and, unfortunately, a bit of a dead end. You can double back there, but it's almost as if, well, it pretty much is a dead end. But on a recent live stream episode of the Tammy Tuckey Show, a former longtime Disney animator who worked in the Disney Hollywood Studios animation studio from 1989 to 2001 seemed to confirm that it would be the former animation studio and Star Wars launch bay shutting its doors rather than the beloved Muppet attraction. The animator in question, Laurie Ashburn Sachs, started in the animation studio when it first opened in what was then known as Disney's MGM Studios in 1989. Starting her career in the paint department, she worked on animated classics like The Little Mermaid, moved on to animation check during Beauty and the Beast, where she would check quality of animation cells before they were sent off to California. She continued to divide her time between Orlando and California until 2001, leaving partway through production on Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, I thought that was important to point out in the article because this was not somebody who was just a custodian in the animation studio that's like, yeah, I heard this thing. Like, this is somebody that was pretty, if she was your quality assurance check, for these movies, she was somebody that was pretty well connected in the company. So it's somebody that would know. I thought her experience kind of lended to the validity of his statement.
I agree.
Before we continue, just real fast, just wanted to go ahead and illustrate for the audience.
Go ahead, yeah.
Where we're talking about right here, this kind of streets of America that happen to be next to the Muppets area of Disney's Hollywood Studios. I thought it was very important to kind of illustrate that for the audience, for people who might not be familiar with this park in general.
Obviously, yeah. So if you're looking at this area, obviously Star Wars: The Adventure Continues is this gray building to the right here. If you were to go straight down this street, you might not even see the Muppets area, and when you walked past it here to go into Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance here, and obviously they're going to put Monstropolis somewhere. I don't know if they've actually figured it out here. There was apparently a lot of resistance in the park to putting it anywhere because you have to take something out in order to do it. MuppetVision 3D over there. Go ahead and stay in this area, Vash.
Nope, you got it.
MuppetVision 3D is the last remaining project that was worked on by Jim Henson, and he made his statements about the immortality of this project because it was going to live on inside of a Disney theme park. Obviously, that sentiment has changed quite a bit.
Yeah,
Now,
and it bears his name too. It's Jim Henson's MuppetVision 3D. It's like taking out Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress.
And that was to be the start of multiple Muppets projects, as Marvin illustrated so beautifully. I mean, it was going to be a whole Muppet Land. The Great Muppet Movie Ride was definitely a concept, and Jim
Gonzo's Pandemonium Pizza Parlor was one of the things that was going to happen, and
he was unbelievably excited about the prospect of taking the Muppets and putting them in animation via audio animatronics. He just found that to be absolutely fascinating, and the rightful succession of the medium. So he was very excited.
Instead, as we're looking at this article here, news just came down last week that they're tearing down the entire structure. They're talking about the animation building. They've obviously moved animation out to make room for Star Wars in the theme park, but even the new building, they're getting rid of it. Now, this seems to confirm, first of all, Star Wars was moved into Hollywood Studios here because what used to be an animation complex and an animation tour became Star Wars Launch Bay, which is almost a completely unused space at this point.
It's pointless. The second Galaxy's Edge opened, it became pointless.
Right. It was essentially before Galaxy's Edge opened. Well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Galaxy's Edge was opened at the time that I went through here. It's a museum, and there's a couple of meet and greets in here. So you can meet Chewbacca, and you could meet BB-8 here. And there's no reason why they couldn't put them over in Galaxy's Edge. It would actually make sense, except for the fact that you can't put Darth Vader in Galaxy's Edge because they don't want to make money on Galaxy's Edge, apparently.
Yeah.
So the animation building, you can see it here. It has a parking structure, and as well, there's some very nice offices in the animation building. One of the reasons that we've been hearing that this would not be the place where this would go was because all of those executives really like their offices. Not because the theme park space is at a premium here, but because executives don't want to move and executives tend to make these decisions. Marvin, you obviously wrote this article. Do you have what are we missing here?
I think that when you look at the concept art, I think it's very clear that Muppets was originally earmarked for this. I think that they got spooked by the because look, that's Grand Avenue on the right side of the screen there. That's Grand Avenue. I think they got understandably spooked by the reaction that people had, the very visceral reaction to, especially right after announcing the Rivers of America going away. Now all of a sudden, oh no, we're getting rid of MuppetVision also. I mean, like that, people would have revolted. I mean, you look at the back there, right toward the back left, that's Pizza Rizzo. That's the Pizza Rizzo building.
Has it occurred to anyone else? It just did to me, just this minute. If they tear a few more things out and put in new stuff, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, between Rivers of America and this and everything else, their official answer, net, to the whole new theme park called Epic Universe will be, well, we've got a new theme park too. It's just the same old one, but there's all new stuff in it.
And that's all they did. That's all they do. That's the whole. You're right on the money. This is the reason why Epic is eating their lunch, because anything that goes into Epic is new by nature, and Disney doesn't have new. They should not be spending money on new when the rest of their parks are crumbling.
And it doesn't help that for them that so many of the so-called new things are so obviously chasing behind things at Epic. Well, and I don't just mean the Villains Land look and all that. I mean, what about that carousel in the old tropical area that's supposed to have special animals carved by a master or whatever? It's like, it's so obviously the carousel from
right. And we know from internal documents that they refer to this as the intellectual property carousel, or at least it has been referred to that, where they're trying to make as many references as possible to intellectual property so that they can sell more.
I think they're PO'd
the item is in the
because
park.
Universal discovered first that the Greeks and the Romans can't sue.
What struck me when all these announcements were made, right? Villains Land, Monsters Incorporated Land, Cars Land, all this stuff that they're bringing in, even Encanto, Indiana Jones, you could have made a fifth gate out of all that. If you would put all that together, you could have made a fifth gate. Only 40% of Walt Disney World property is developed. So you still have 60% of that massive property left to use. Walt talked about the gift of size. This land can hold all of the dreams we could ever possibly have. And they would rather bulldoze what's old. And now look, as far as using the Star Wars launch bay in the animation building, that's fine. That area is basically a vacant lot at this point, right? What are you missing in this animation courtyard? You get rid of the launch bay, which is a couple of meet and greets. They don't even do the dessert party in there anymore because they don't do the Star Wars fireworks anymore.
Right.
Disney Junior Live on Stage is gone. Now that's just a dance party. And you got a couple of meet and greet locations for Disney Junior characters that you could very easily move into the center of the park. You can move on to Hollywood Boulevard. You can move them anywhere you really need to move them. So there is ample opportunity to extend back here. If it wasn't going to go there, it would have literally just been, like you said, Jonas, they didn't want to lose their offices, which, I think at some point, maybe what's his face, the head of the parks and experiences was like, Damaro was probably like, guys, we'll build you new offices. Okay. They'll be even nicer.
Yeah.
We'll give you showers, but smaller showers than Bob's.
A communal shower. Yeah. And really, when it comes down to it, I look at this entire thing here, and I think that Disney, first of all, the idea that they put monsters into Hollywood studios at this point is Disney trying very hard to be pleasing. An inverted roller coaster for Disney, that's not typically something we would have expected from them a few years back. It's great concept art, by the way, and I love the trailing lights on the canisters. The idea that the screams, or I think in this case probably laughter, is powering their push through here. Anyways, roller coasters are something that Disney is trying to do to be more crowd pleasing. But the thing that I don't expect from this company is for them to actually pay attention to what is going on in the fandom and say, okay, we're not going to do that. There was such a strong reaction to the Muppets from so many people. I mean, even the people who seem to view the parks as their local bar, those are the people that push back on the idea of getting rid of MuppetVision 3D. So I think at this point, Disney is listening more than they have ever listened in the past. And the executives that are being displaced by this, it's a small price to pay, I think, for them to listen more. I wonder, and I don't think this is where they're going to, I don't think that they're going to continue down this path and stop Rivers of America from being filled in with concrete. But I wonder if the conversation was had of, is there anything we can do to not fill in the Rivers of America here? I don't think it's the same, but what do you guys think? Is there any hope here that they'll stop other awful, non-creative?
I've been hearing rumors that they might leave the loop in like that one little area, Tom Sawyer's Island, and then fill in everything above. But that would be a pretty drastic change. And I also feel like Disney would now, Universal, for example. Universal listens to what fans say. They listen to social media trends. They make their adaptations for their park specific characters based on feedback from fans. I think Disney kind of has this, you'll take what, we know what you want better than you know. And I think that to now cancel the announced destruction of Rivers of America, I think is going to be them being like, well, then we're just teaching these children the wrong lesson, that if they scream loud enough, we'll do whatever they want. I can hear that argument being made. Right. So I think that nothing can be done to stop this this reminds me of all those 90s movies in which the evil corporation came in to destroy something, and there would be something, whether it's a telethon or a dance-off or a bunch of plucky kids from the Goondocks that would try to do something to stop the destruction of something beautiful that meant something. Oh, I mean, I think I made the comparison when we were first talking about the Muppet thing, that like this was literally the plot of the Jason Segel Muppet movie, that like the evil billionaire was coming in to tear down the Muppet Theater. Like it was, or to tear down Muppet Studios so at that point, Bob Iger and Josh D'Amaro were literally Tex Richmond, the oil baron.
It's a little too on the nose, and maybe that's why they changed course here. But
Miss Bitterman from A Very Merry Muppet Christmas Story, which is a very underrated Muppet Christmas special, by the way. where she's going to tear down the theater to build Club Dot.
That's perfect.
But Disney Hollywood Studios, though, I mean, that's low stakes. Magic Kingdom is high stakes, and they've always wanted to unlock more capacity for that park. They want to get people back there. I don't think there's really anything that could stop at least some destruction of the Rivers of America. The question really is how much they'll actually do. Are they going to go forward with the concept they've already announced, or will they change tact? That is the big question.
Agreed.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.